right, welcome back to the Fourth Pace podcast.
Welcome everybody.
Episode.
Marcus the Motivator back again.
Today we have a lot of exciting and weird and interesting news to cover.
It has been an interesting last few days, hasn't it?
It has.
So let's dive straight into it.
Okay, I don't even know where to start. There's so much craziness out there. But I feel like we should start by covering something that kind of relates to what we've covered before, which So early on we did the prank calling North Korea. Imagine if you'd invented prank calling in North Korea by if you were the prime minister, what you would do. And turns out that perhaps maybe one of them might have actually done that because the envoy that was sent to do the negotiations with the US was killed. So I like to think that the real reason why they were killed is because they discovered prank calling and kept prank calling Kim Jong-un. And
that's not a good thing at all. That is not a great thing. That's not a great way to do things, to be honest.
Well, then another wacky news story for you. So I don't know if you saw this, but a former PhD student is suing Queensland's James Cook University for $3.125 million over the loss of his sex drive.
Hold on. $3.125 million.
Yeah.
Why such a specific amount?
Well, because he lost his sex drive, and that is a specific amount that a sex drive is worth.
All right, this is going to be really worth discussing. So, how is someone's sex drive worth $3.125 million?
I know. Personally, I would have ranked it about 3.267 million. But, not to be pedantic about figures and numbers.
How can you put a price on your sex drive?
I feel like if you're going to be specific, you've also got to go down to the cents. Like, what about 33 cents?
Like, you may as well 72 cents. You may as well say what was it?
3.125 million.
So that's 3,125,000. You may as well
$636.73.
Exactly. You may as well say it's your sex drive is worth $4,374,242.91 or something.
How did you know that was the value of my sex drive?
Was it?
Yeah, I got it assessed by a...
Who assessed it?
A sex drive assessor. You know how they have housing assessors?
Yes.
Where they send in and the bank
They're real estate agents?
No, but they have the specific assessor who can... Yeah. You can get an assessment done on your property.
Okay.
I want to get an assessment done on my sex drive.
That's an interesting thing to get an assessment on.
Yes. So once you have sex and decide, well, that's not that motion, that's a loss of 23 cents there.
Personally, mine's invaluable. So, but anyway. But
what if I offered you $50 million?
No, still wouldn't take it.
You wouldn't take $50 million
to not have sex?
Yeah.
No.
$100 million?
No.
$1 billion?
Not to not have sex.
Surely there's got to be a number.
No, there is no number.
See, I don't think you're thinking this through because at a certain point, you get to a point where you'd be able to afford to invent your own some type of alternative or some type of medical way to do it.
No. There would be no price. That is one of those things in life that I would want to make sure that I could enjoy.
Even for $6 billion.
Yep. I would
what
not.
About $6 billion and 23 cents?
No, I still wouldn't take the money.
24 cents?
No.
25 cents?
Not even 33 cents. I couldn't put a price on it.
Well, he said it was mental torture. He submitted a 20-page Supreme Court document for mental torture and prolonged harassment
at the university.
Yeah, because he failed two subjects.
He failed two subjects.
Yeah, and that's what led to that was probably a key point of the story. We should have mentioned earlier.
I can comment on this.
What, as a failure? As a university failure, you're uniquely in the position.
I failed a subject at university, and it was painful, to be honest.
And did you lose your sex drive?
No.
Oh.
And it also didn't cost me $3.225 million worth of pain and torture.
See, this is where you're wrong. If it's now too late for you to sue by publicizing that information.
Well,
now
I'm not
that you've
gonna
got this
sue them
information,
anyway.
you could have publicized and sued them. And
I actually learnt a lot more from that failure, to be honest. It basically said you need to get off your ass and actually do something instead and do a little bit more work.
yeah, but
put
see,
some
the
more
difference
effort.
is that this guy actually expected to pass, whereas you're just a bum who expected to fail.
I'm not a bum, thank you very much.
Yeah, well, that's why you still had your sex drive after failing a subject. If you weren't, you would have lost your sex drive
Anyway,
from failing the subject.
I have failed a university subject. It's very annoying to do that, but I don't think it's worth suing a university over. If you don't want to do university, don't go. Simple as that. It's not hard.
Well, we have a fantastic quote from him.
Yep.
I'm no longer wanting to be on the bed, to share bed with my partner. There is no such desire, no desire for anything. It has stopped my sex life. I have no sex drive. There is no stimulation in my organs. I have never had this problem before. I don't feel any blood down there. Okay, now it got me thinking, based on that. So if he's saying that it doesn't work anymore,
Yeah.
shouldn't they, to win this court case, have to prove that? And therefore, shouldn't he be
That would
forced
be amusing, actually.
forced in court to watch naked women and see if his penis adjusts as a result of?
Well, I think there's a fair chance of case dismissed then quite quickly, to be honest.
Imagine the court has to take him to a strip club and say, Your Honor, let
Your
that
Honor,
woman.
Your Honor. Can you imagine him getting whipped by like a feather duster or something as well to see what? I'm sure that'd reduce the stress pretty quickly. couple of drinks later and a feather duster in the right place.
And then, the lawyer presenting the case and has to bring out a stripper and look at this pussy. Does that look at his penis? It's erect.
Yeah, it's an interesting way.
Now, what if you had a
things.
very small penis that was not much different when it's erect or not? So they have to actually measure it to see if there's changes in the.
Well, I'm sure there's plenty of people qualified to make that judgment.
Well, speaking of which, why don't they just buy a hooker and then make the hooker suck him off, and then the hooker can say whether the penis grew within their mouth or not.
Yeah, it's a very interesting story, this one.
Yeah.
There's many twists and turns to go, I think, with this and as to how this could be resolved.
True.
So,
all right. The UEFA Champions League was on the weekend.
it was
The European Champions League. And they had to issue a warning over fake stewards who were an organized group of people impersonating genuine stewards. And basically what they were doing is they were dressing up as ticket inspectors so that they could check your ticket. And what they would do is they would then go and take the ticket and then go and sell it. Which is so ingenious.
and it's probably something people would fall for.
True. Oh, as if you wouldn't. Like, firstly, how would you know what a UEFA steward's supposed to look like? So how would you know that it's not an official one?
Well, quite simply,
If they're literally going out of their way to get fake uniforms that look like it, how the hell would you?
the only time you need to present your ticket is when you enter the venue.
That's not true.
Yes, that is generally the case.
Not necessarily. In some of these
Yeah.
countries where they have crazy whatever rules and especially with all kinds of heightened security these days, you cannot say that that's the case. Because also the week before in the Europa League, they were stopping people and asking them for their information over there was some conflict with one of the Arsenal players coming from a country where they were fighting with or whatever.
Oh,
and so he couldn't play. So anyone who had that jersey on, they were checking their information. And that was the real police. So what you just said is total bullshit.
Oh, wait,
And
you're
you've
talking about the identity of someone. You're not talking about like whether someone, the ticket, whether someone.
They were checking what they were doing there and their identity and all that kind of information.
Okay.
So it's not at all absurd that they would check your tickets around the stadium that
Yeah,
weren't
but
inside the stadium.
Just have
And
some
how do you know
common
what a
sense
checkpoint
to
is? Well, no, it's not common sense because they're going out of their way to fake it.
If some random person comes up.
We're talking about someone here who struggled to sit on a chair last night telling people that they should have common sense and was clicking buttons on a microphone.
That I was doing.
You clicked buttons on the microphone
A lot of
and then
times,
didn't
to be
understand
honest.
what was going on.
Well, that's 'cause
And
you
you're
didn't-
talking about common sense and the fact that you should know what a real steward versus a fake one is.
Well, if you're going to a football match,
Yeah.
you would think that you would realize pretty quickly if someone's come up to you like 200 meters away from the ground wanting to check your ticket, whether or not that was someone who was genuine or not.
No, you wouldn't because they have several checkpoints.
I think you would.
You're a fucking moron. Like, seriously, they
Well,
have
I
different
think you would.
checkpoints. That's absurd.
Yeah, not that far away. I've been to sporting events overseas.
Clearly you
and
haven't.
I have, and it's
Clearly you
generally not
haven't.
that extreme.
I'm pretty sure it is.
There are security checkpoints, yes, but they wouldn't check your ticket.
Then, well, they just let anyone go up to the thing.
Well, if you haven't got anything dangerous on you, then why not? There's nothing wrong with hanging around outside a sporting venue.
Yes, there is.
No, there isn't.
There is in plenty of places.
Plenty
you
of people
can't.
do it.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
No, they don't.
Plenty of people hang around
We're not
outside
talking about
sporting
park
venues.
football in Australia. We're talking about fucking major
Well,
world events.
Yeah, major
One
events.
of the
people
biggest
happens.
events in the world. No, they
Look
don't.
at the NBA at the moment. If anyone watching, like, there's like thousands of Toronto supporters outside of the stadium each time they're playing there.
Oh, so are we talking about Canada?
Or
No,
you're talking
we're not.
you're talking about major sporting events. The NBA Finals is a major sporting event.
So that's Canada again.
I'm just giving you an example. Anyway,
All right. Well, I feel like it's time that we announce. So we finally got a bit more advanced with our show, where we can now finally take phone calls. So if anyone wants to call in,
yes,
and you want to join in the show at any point while we're recording,
let us know.
Give us a phone call. Chuck us a call on our new phone number, which is 0000. Says 000. So just call and ask for us, and
I
do well.
don't know what that number is, but anyway.
You don't know what that number is?
No, I don't know what that number is.
You don't know what 000 is?
Well,
What fucking country? You were just going on about common sense. You don't even know the
what
fucking
country are you in?
Australia.
What's the emergency number in America?
911.
Oh, I thought that. Okay. So it's 000 in Australia.
You're talking about common sense and you don't know that 000 is the fucking...
Yes, I do. I just wanted to see.
No,
the look on your face at the moment was quite funny, actually.
No, it's very clear that was not the case. That is very clear that you did not fucking know the 000.
It's not hard to know that 000 is.
Yeah, so
the emergency
how did you not
number
know
in
that?
Zoo. Well, I just wanted to see your reaction.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did actually.
No, you didn't.
Anyway, doesn't
you
matter.
knew what it was. You fucking moron.
So if anyone wants to get involved in one of our shows,
you can leave a voicemail on the link that's in the thing.
yeah, get in touch with us. Send us a message.
Don't
and
call 000 because seriously.
Don't call 000 like he said.
Yes.
Like
he didn't even know.
Don't call 000. Don't call 911. Don't call any emergency numbers. Just send us a message and we'll get back to you and you can join us.
Yeah, enough about that. Okay, moving on. There was a race at the dogs at the gardens called the 2 Girls 1 Cup Stakes.
I did see this one.
Yes.
Someone I got this pointed out to me by a friend.
Okay.
Just one night, and I thought it was a very, very interesting name for for a greyhound race?
Way to say absolutely nothing. Obviously, it was. That's why we mentioned it.
Yes.
Yeah. So obviously, it brings on the actual question of what the fuck would be the craziest name of a race you could give. If you could name a race anything you wanted, what would it be?
If I could name a race, what?
See, I would love to name it something
What would
that's
you like? Because I can't think of
impossible
it.
to pronounce.
Yeah.
So that the horse race announcer has to say we're at the you put like ZZXYK QS.
So that they
ZZ.
absolutely butcher the name pretty
Stakes.
much.
Yeah, yeah. But it's also like super long and super hard to
What about
pronounce.
something in like a foreign language?
Well, foreign language is obvious because you can put pretty much anything. You can get them to say really offensive stuff in different languages.
Yeah, but not doesn't have to be offensive.
It does have
so-
to be offensive. If you're going to take the time to do this, you make it something that's really offensive.
Well, you can make it.
You do it. I'm a fuckwit stakes, so that the guy keeps saying, and we're off on the I'm a fuckwit.
No, that's what you name the horse that's winning. So
yeah, but it's
that
going
they
to be in
say
a
that
different
quite a
language
lot.
to be able to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I reckon if you name something in Russian, I reckon that'd be.
Yeah, but Russian's not going to get it past them because again, it's got to be something in a different language, but it's also got to be phonetically the same.
Well, if they say, I don't know Russian language or anything.
Well, then way to bring it up.
Well, I don't know, something like maybe Italian language or Spanish language or something.
Yeah, obviously.
I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah, give us an example.
I'm trying to think of.
I had a really good one.
It could be like, say, we could call it, say, something like the carne steaks, which in Spanish means like meat. Call it the meats. I don't know.
That's
Something.
pretty lame.
I know that seems pretty stupid and
Yeah, well,
lame,
it's very lame.
but something different.
I had the very good idea of
Yeah.
for your brother to put and invite him and his partner down there.
Yeah.
And put her name and then will you marry me? Out of nowhere where he's not expecting it.
Can you imagine? Yeah, will you marry?
Yeah, and then there's like I'm assuming there's some type of presentation if you pay for this, and then he has to give away the cup, and then everyone's expecting like a big.
He gets down on one knee with a ring and everything. That'd be a very awkward,
It's true
funny
romance.
but true romance.
Like if you're gonna ask someone to marry, you do it at greyhound racing.
Yeah,
because
do it at the gardens.
there's nothing more
that's true.
classy than that.
True.
Speaking of which, I have something for you to try to read. Read that name there.
The name.
Yeah. And it is not made up.
So, are you sure this is not made
100%
up?
real. Give it a go.
All right. So, this is the name of a football club.
Just fucking read it
All
already.
right. The name is Lanfair Pulguignal Gogori Churan Robulianti Silio Gogo Gochi Football Club.
Yeah.
Where?
Wales.
Wales.
Yes.
That
That is a real Welsh.
That sounds Welsh to me. That does sound Welsh to me.
Well, now that you know that it's Wales.
Yeah.
Yeah. But clearly, not even exaggerated. And it got me thinking, imagine how cool it'd be if I'm sure there's probably streets and whatever named after that. So imagine on your sat nav or your navigator have to read out, turn right on Lamfair Gotch.
Can you imagine that being pronounced and how that would sound?
Imagine you name your kid after this. I'm a lifelong Landfair gosh fan, so therefore I'm going to call my son Landfair Gary Gotch Jr.
Anyway, That's yeah.
Don't insult my son's name, you
Well,
dickhead.
that's Welsh, so
Well, that's what I'm going to name my kid.
you speaking Welsh now, are you?
Yeah, I'm going to name my kid Lanfair Junior.
Fair enough.
Junior.
I can't even pronounce it, so let's be honest.
But imagine how epic that would be, you know, in school when they have to pronounce names and it's like
The teacher would have no chance of pronouncing
imagine
that,
the
to be
name
honest.
tags and shit where they'd have to like write it
The
down.
name tag would be like not just here, but it'd be like across the entire kid's chest. That's what it would be. That's how long that name tag would be.
Yes, it would. Okay. Now we get on to some very interesting news. So this is a headline that you're going to love. Middle school students
Yep.
allegedly fed urine and semen-filled crepes to teachers.
That's
That's got me horny. That brought back my sex drive. That's worth $3.125 million right there because they've just brought back my sex drive.
that's got to be a prank of some description.
Nah, of course not. That's obviously a sexy, hot fetish.
That is some fetish that those teenagers must have, if that's the case.
It could be, but
What
apparently,
do you reckon the motivation for that is?
it's got to be a prank.
It's got to be a prank.
A group of middle school students in Ohio allegedly served urine and semen-filled crepes to their teachers during a gourmet cooking competition and are now being investigated by the local authorities. Well, if it's gourmet, I hope it was all natural and that they hadn't used
It
any
sounds like all natural
preservatives.
to me. It does sound all natural.
Going back to something I've asked you before on a previous podcast, what would be the best condiment to have with your urine and semen-filled crepe?
I reckon. Oh, what would it be? I reckon some sweet chili sauce would go down with it quite well.
You know what? Okay, you know what the fucked up part of this is, right? So if you take...
No, I got better. Some garlic and chili sauce.
I reckon some nice garlic aioli might...
Some garlic sauce or garlic aioli would
I
go
reckon
down well with
garlic aioli mixed in with semen and you'd almost not even notice the semen.
You probably wouldn't, to be honest.
If you mixed it in well enough.
Yeah.
So that's a lesson for cooking out there with everybody. If you're going to eat your own semen, use some garlic aioli.
Just chuck some garlic
to water
aioli,
it down.
yeah.
But okay, so here's a little awkward part of this that I just realized. So if you took away the urine, okay, so we can include the urine because what if it's like really clear urine where you've like been drinking a lot of water so you don't really taste it, right?
Yeah.
So you have that, so you've knocked out the taste of urine.
Urine doesn't actually have much of a taste anyway.
You see it from experience.
Well,
I take that.
I have been adventuring before.
Okay,
and,
so tell us more.
well, look, I was adventuring and camping out one day in South America, and I was a little bit thirsty once and had no water.
So you just drank your own piss.
And it was actually, I had been told by a number of people that what a lot of people do when they don't actually have access to water
Is they drink their own
is that
piss.
they drink their own urine. Now,
Yeah, but it's not meant to be at a steak dinner and you're out in a restaurant.
no, I know, but when you have no other option, that's kind of what you do. Now, there's only a limit. You can do it so many times because it gets so concentrated that you can't actually drink it anymore.
You sound like you're saying that from experience.
Well,
How many times? 3, 4, 5?
done it once. I did it once because I only needed to do it once. But I'd got told
How much? Like a
read
water bottle
stories.
full or?
Not a water bottle full. Just a small cup full.
That's a fair, decent amount of piss you've been drinking.
Well, I was thirsty. So sometimes when you need to rehydrate and you need to go, you just do it both all at the same time.
Okay, then. Each to their own, as
Well,
they say.
Hey, sometimes you got to do things a little bit differently and you got to find different means. You got to find alternative ways to do things to keep yourself hydrated when you can't find a natural water
So
source
if you were
around.
hungry, would you have eaten your own shit?
No.
Why not?
Well, you end up with hepatitis A I think you end up with hepatitis A if you end up eating your own shit.
Oh, fuck. I wish they said that before. Yeah, but okay. So let's say you're a male teacher, a straight male teacher, and you have this urine and semen filled crepe. How do you say that, hey, there's clearly semen in this? Because how would you know what semen tastes like?
The only way you'd know what semen would taste like is if you've tasted semen before.
Yeah. So what does it taste like?
I don't know because I haven't tasted semen before. I know that's where you were trying to get me to going with this.
Really?
No.
Piss? One night in South Africa or South America,
no.
you know, yeah.
Things. Yeah, no, I
thirsty.
haven't tasted semen.
But then did this teacher taste it?
Well, clearly he's tasted semen previously then.
Apparently the judges for the cooking contest, which happened during a gourmet class, was captured on video.
Oh, yeah.
Several students allegedly put urine and or semen onto the crepes and fed them to faculty members, the local sheriff's office reports.
Did they actually know which students it was?
It just said it was on video, so clearly they do.
Okay.
So, all right, so there's that. Now let's get on to a nice, interesting story about the coach whisperer. The NRL is going crazy at the moment due to the coach whisperer.
Yes.
The NRL Rugby League State of Origin is on.
Yep.
And Bradley Charles Stubbs has worked with a number of coaches in the game, including the reigning premiers.
Yep.
And the Queensland Maroons have hired Mr. Stubbs. He charges $5,000 a session as a coach whisperer. And what they're saying is that he's some of the key things that he's brought to the team was to not mention the other side's name.
I did see, I was watching some sports news the other day.
Yes.
Where they were interviewing the Queensland Maroons players.
Now you're saying Maroons.
Maroon. Queensland Maroon players.
Maroons. Marons.
Anyway, however you pronounce it. And that they were instructed not to talk about the opposition.
They had to ban the word New South Wales and Blues from the camp, and they're even fining players if they say it.
Yeah, they did. I did hear that they don't want to talk about their opposition.
$5,000 for that.
Well,
for 1 hour coaching session on this.
It's really simple. If someone's going to pay you $5,000 for 1 hour of work, then good on you for being able to get that. If you're that valuable that someone will pay you that much money.
Look, I'm just going to put it out there for $4,990 plus GST. I will whisper to you. I will whisper to you not to say your opposition's name, and I'll whisper it very gently and be like, don't say the name. Avoid saying the name.
I'm gonna go one better than $5,000 an hour. Keep
so
talking.
$5,001.
No. I'm gonna go better.
Well, I don't know. One better than 5,000 would be 5,001. Yeah. We're waiting.
Give me. Hold on.
This is intriguing.
Yes, this is intriguing. So I'm looking up. Here we go. So I'm looking up at the moment right now. So
whisper to me.
I will whisper to you. So
earn that 5,000, babe.
So one of, where is it? Here we go.
Don't say their name.
So one of the sports that a number of you know that I like to play is golf. And golf is obviously, can be at times an expensive sport. And a lot of people make a lot of money playing golf.
Do they? I didn't know. I don't think anyone knew that.
Well, anyway. Now,
didn't know anyone knew that there was money in golf.
Now, some of the golf coaches charge a very high price.
Did you know that golf backwards is flog?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I did know that.
That's some of my advice that you get.
I have been told.
My $4,990 package.
I'm gonna read out. I'm just looking here on an article. Now these may have changed, and likely they've probably gone up. Now, to learn golf from one coach for 2 hours, $1,200. That's pretty expensive.
You said one better than 5,000.
Hey, I'm getting there.
Well,
I'm getting there.
Get there faster.
So we've got another couple of coaches. We've got one coach for 3 hours, $3,500.
Again.
We've got $5,000 for a day by the note.
That's a day. That's still substantially less than $5,000 in 1 hour.
Here are the two kickers. Now,
I mean, if you say anything less than 3 or 4 million, it's going to be fucking.
Now, it's very timely that I mention this person. So, Hank Haney.
Oh, yeah. Perfect that you mentioned that because it's
Hank Haney
made the bottom of everyone's tongues.
Hank Haney charges $15,000 a day to teach people to play golf.
That's actually still less than $5,000 an hour, you understand?
But that's quite a lot.
Still less than $5,000 an hour.
But But what was your definition of that?
He's $5,000 an hour.
Yeah, but they may have only used him for 1 hour.
So?
But it wasn't the whole day.
So?
Now, Hank Haney got himself in a bit of shit by making some comments about a golf tournament, about the US women's golf tournament.
It's better be a riveting story because you've really pumped it up.
Well, he got himself in some shit and everyone just decided to bash him over Twitter because he's a world-class professional golf coach and he basically said he doesn't care about women's golf despite the fact the biggest golf tournament for women was on last week. And he made some comments basically saying that a Korean woman by the name of Lee would win it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And that even though there's about 10 of them playing in the tournament, everyone gave it to him. And he actually ended up getting suspended from his radio show. I know.
Don't mind me, just,
He ended up getting suspended from his radio show. Now, if you want to go better, there's one more coach. $30,000 for a day. Dave
still
Peltz.
less than $5,000 an hour, you realize.
Well, how many hours are they charging him for?
It doesn't matter. The fact that $5,000 for 1 hour is more than $30,000 over 8 hours.
I think $30,000 for a day is quite expensive, don't you?
I think that this is just riveting talk right now.
Well, we went on this. We wanted to talk about the subjective, but those people who can charge that much and people will pay them, good on you, people. Good on you guys. If you're worth it, that sounds like the model who said she'd never get out of bed for less than $10,000 a day. Who was that? Who said that?
I don't know, but I'm sure she gets out of bed for free on a regular basis.
She wouldn't get out of bed for more. Anyway.
Yeah, that would mean that she wouldn't get out of bed to have breakfast for herself.
Anyway, I think, it was...
In any event, let's move on to something of interest. Finally. So what year is it?
What year is it?
Yeah, what year is it right now?
2019 at the moment.
It's actually 1722, you fucking moron.
Well, why is it 1722?
So independent scientists have come to the conclusion that 3 centuries have been lost in the history of mankind.
How is that?
Based on the study of historical documents, came to the conclusion that in the period from the 8th to the 11th century, chronological events are inconsistent.
Chronological, you mean?
Yeah, same shit.
What did you say? Chronological?
Yeah.
Do you not know how to pronounce English? Chronological?
Are inconsistent, vague, imprecise, and very poor, as if they were simply made up.
Well, they didn't have the ability to keep records like we do now.
There are irrefutable documents indicating the loss of 3 centuries, thus the grandiose construction in Constantinople of that period was for some reason abruptly suspended for 3 centuries and suddenly resumed.
Okay.
Exactly the same absurdity can be traced when building the Aachen Cathedral in Germany, and there are too many inconsistencies. So yes,
Sounds
basically
riveting.
everything we've been told is wrong.
And that we've lost 300 years, basically.
So yeah, happy 1722.
Yep.
I think that we should get everything changed to the appropriate date.
So we're now so now this podcast is going out. So welcome to everybody.
It is June 1722.
It is. We are in June 1722 on the, I don't know what date it is, the 4th, I think.
Well, in theory, the date is probably different too.
It probably is. We don't even know what day it is.
It's some random day in 1722.
Yeah.
Happy day.
May not even be in June, to be honest.
Yeah, well, no shit. That would be why it's a random day.
So happy everyone out there.
Like
we're in 1722. So anyway, we're back in 1722. Should we get dressed up appropriately for our next podcast?
Well, no. If things haven't changed, it's still 1722.
That's true. Fair enough. Anyway, moving on. What's next?
Okay, moving on to something of more interest. The argument for masturbating during childbirth.
Masturbating during childbirth.
This is a headline from Vice. I mean, who doesn't do that? But apparently it decreases the pain of giving childbirth. So therefore, if you're just going to masturbate to decrease pain, why stop there? What's something else that hurts? You know what hurts? When you fight in the UFC. So why not masturbate during the UFC as a fighter?
Well, you'd get knocked the fuck out pretty quickly.
How would you know that? As long as you keep your distance, you can get a good good session in. And think about it. If you're going like this and then bam and then like back down, they're going to be backing away. And once you finish, your hands are obviously going to be dirty. So when you punch, it's going to add to it.
Some extra bodily fluids.
You know what? I wonder
everywhere.
if the UFC has even got a rule in there that you can't masturbate. I mean, it's such a crazy thing to do that I feel like they wouldn't have even thought about it.
I don't think they would have thought about it, to be honest.
I know they had to bring in that you can't shit anymore because they actually had incidents of people shitting. So if they haven't had incidents of people masturbating, why not bring that in?
I'm not sure why. Who knows?
Can you not?
It seems an interesting rule to bring into a sport. I mean, you're wearing the appropriate jumper at the time.
I'm clearly sponsored by UFC. I wear this because I'm a UFC masturbator. Undefeated? No.
I just can't even comprehend someone in a sporting arena just flopping it out and starting.
You don't have to flop it out. You can do it under your pants. I mean, that's disgusting. Why would you pull it out? You leave it inside your pants, but you...
It just... Anyway.
Jesus, you act like you've never masturbated in public before.
And you have? And you have? Speaking from experience, I'm guessing over there?
Of course not. I've never done that.
I think you're speaking
Only in
from
my
experience
7
over there.
UFC fights have I done that.
Okay, fair enough. Anyway.
Speaking of which, we had the massive upset of Anthony Joshua losing to a guy from the pub.
Well, this is... What was the guy's name? It was
Andy Ruiz.
Andy Ruiz. Well, this was interesting. I mean, it was an interesting time in the sporting world over the last few days. So, Anthony Joshua, undefeated was he? I think.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
he was undefeated in who knows how many fights. And I remember.
That's right. We've got all the facts here.
I can't remember how many fights. I'd have to look it up, but it was.
And you know, he went undefeated without ever having to masturbate in the ring as well. So, which just says how good of a fighter he was.
Anyway, Anthony Joshua undefeated for a very long time until Mr. Ruiz from Mexico.
who is sponsored by Snickers and actually ate a Snickers before the fight, as
Yeah.
he does before every fight,
So
because he's just a man of
he it was a technical knockout, I think.
whatever, knockout.
TKO,
Yeah.
knockout, whatever. So he's beaten Anthony Joshua, which was a massive upset. No one really saw this coming. And if you actually I saw bits and replays of the fight. Ruiz actually got knocked down twice before he ended up KOing Joshua.
Really?
So it was very much a big turn up watching someone who's not in as great a shape as what Anthony Joshua is.
Yeah.
Actually excel extremely.
It's the power of masturbation. I don't know for sure, but I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that he masturbated pre-fight.
I
He
don't
probably see the match didn't go long enough. Maybe the 10th round, that's what he was waiting for. The final 10th round, rub one out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to describe. It was hard to describe what you could put it down to.
I mean,
what his
another guy
power
being
was.
better.
I mean, you think it was?
It was Snickers. That's what you put it down to.
Yeah, okay, it was Snickers. Now, moving along to some other interesting news in the sporting world. Not only the European Cup was on over the last few days, but the African Champions League was on as well.
Yes.
And in about the 60th minute, a goal got disallowed by the referee because of offside.
Yeah.
And this led to the team refusing to play on
As
for the rest of the match.
I feel like that's the most appropriate action.
Because
I mean, it's either that or you just don't stop masturbating until
so the team decided to stop playing because the VAR wasn't working properly and the referee refused to call it. So after about an hour, where the president of the African Champions League, or whatever, I don't know exactly what they call it in that part of the world, he came onto the pitch and they were trying to discuss what to do.
CONCACAF. See, look how.
Well, it's good that you know this. So
I read an article once.
The president came on and tried to sort the situation. He couldn't. And after an hour of delay and discussion, the referee just called an end to the game like that. And it was done. It was just bizarre scenes. If you're watching it, go and check it out. It was unbelievable what happened.
Fantastic. Well, going back to masturbating, I received a very interesting email this afternoon.
Yes.
Started with, hey, this is a letter. This letter is not going to take a lot of your time, therefore direct to the issue. I obtained a movie of you polishing the family jewels when at a porn website you're visited. And that's your. Thanks to an incredible ass computer software, I've managed to place on a couple of websites with that type of content material. You click play button and all of the cameras and mic begin their work. Furthermore, it saves every fucking thing from your laptop computer, like contacts, passwords, and stuff such as that. Guess just where I have this email from. So now I know who my goal is to send out this to in case you are not necessarily going to settle this with me. So I've sent him 10,000 Bitcoin and hopefully that goes away.
That should sort that problem out.
Yes.
That should definitely
That actually
sort that
reminds me
problem
of
out.
a time when we took one of those emails and rewrote it and put it from your brother and like he was a warlord in a random country and has come into some serious money that he wants to give people.
Oh, yeah. How did that end up going down?
Well, no one responds because obviously spam is spam. And
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know who's going to fall for this shit.
Yeah, well, some people do.
Speaking of crazy childhood things, which I was meant to bring up when we were talking about the urine and semen-filled crepes.
Yeah.
It reminded me of a time when you had some interesting fun at school and may or may not have caused a strike.
Oh, yes. I know what you're... Oh, yeah, this was a great... Well, do you want to tell it or do you want me to tell it?
No, you can tell it.
Oh, we'll both tell it. I'll start it.
Hang on. Yeah, you start it. Start with this.
Kim son, from the moment you walked in the door, I loved you. You are actually amazing.
Okay, so continue.
So, back when I was in high school, in my youth,
What year was that?
I'm gonna say early 2000s.
Wrong.
Early 2000s.
Wrong.
Early 2000s.
Wrong.
What year was it?
The early 17,000s, you
Early
fucking moron.
17,000s.
We already went
That's
over
right,
this.
I forgot.
Jesus
I've already forgotten that
Christ.
we're in 17. Anyway, enough of
17,
enough of the time, date, whatever. I used to get the bus home from school, like many people did, like you did as well.
No
You used to-
shit, that's where we met.
Exactly. That's just so like a lot of kids did. I used to get public transport, used to get the bus to and from school each day. And I was getting the bus home on this particular day. And I'd taken notice that the bus driver at the stop that I would get off and walk home from, he would get off the bus as well. And it was a bit weird. We couldn't understand why initially. Why he'd get off the bus when he hadn't finished his journey all the way, hadn't finished the end of the bus journey to take all the school kids on the bus route that he was driving. It had turned out that he would get off the bus at that stop and go to just a local it was at a reserve, and he'd go to the public toilet there because it was apparently for him it was too hard for him to go to the toilet when the bus stopped at the end of the route at a shopping centre. So in actual fact, he thought walking an extra 100 metres was a little bit too hard. It was a bit too difficult for him. So anyway,
Sounds to me like there was a glory hole at the...
Anyway...
I'm going to spread the rumor. There was a glory hole there. And
anyway, who knows what was there? I never actually walked into that bathroom in my time.
Bullshit.
No, I didn't
This
actually.
is how you knew. You went in there for the glory
No,
hole.
I didn't go in there.
You did. You're getting all defensive now, too.
Oh, I did. I just
you
never
did. You
did,
went into
so-
there for the glory hole.
Well, it was a
And this is
shitty bathroom.
Yeah, I feel like that there was a glory hole in there. And
You
what
reckon there
actually
was a
happened
glory hole in
is
there?
that you were offended by what happened there that
No, I
day.
wasn't.
And look at how defensive you're getting.
Anyway, you can
If
say
wanna
this,
act
I don't mind.
Jesus, stop being so
Well,
defensive.
it just didn't happen. But anyway,
It
so
did.
what happened
So
was...
the real reason why all this went down
Shut
is
up and
because
let me actually tell the story.
See, if it wasn't a glory hole and I hadn't hit the truth,
So
it
the
was
bus driver-
Hang on.
No.
Yes.
Let me tell the story and you can add to it.
Because you're
I'm
clearly-
gonna tell the story.
I'm trying to add to it, and you're clearly trying to gloss over the fact that you're in a glory hole. So the real reason why all this went down is the glory hole incident, and
Anyhow.
that's what you've...
Glory hole or not, I decided one day I'd had enough of this bus driver getting off at the stop and leaving the bus unattended. And I decided I would get my half
Again,
my
why did
water
you have to
bottle.
pick the only spot that you were at?
It was just coincidence.
Because
that
even
that
you
was the
brought this
spot.
whole into the fact of why did he go there?
Well, he said that the
Because
bathroom was. He said that the
I think
bathroom
there
was
a
closer at the
fine young
park
lad
than it
there.
was.
There was a
at
fine
the
young
shopping
lad there
centre.
who wanted to go visit.
Anyway, I don't know where you're going with this, but anyway. So
What do you mean you don't know where I'm going with
Anyway,
it?
so the long and
It's very
short
clear
is-
where I'm going with
the
it.
long and the short-
Why are you trying to gloss over
the
this?
long and the short is
No.
that
I don't know
what
you
the fuck you're talking about,
You
to be
can't skip the
honest.
key details.
I don't even know what he's
You're
doing.
getting so defensive and acting so fucking weird that I started saying this as a joke, and then now your reactions are only going to say that maybe I've somehow stumbled on something perfectly accurate. Why the fuck are you trying to cover this up?
Cover what up? What
See,
am I
again,
covering up?
you keep going and acting guilty as fuck.
How am I guilty?
Because the way that you're responding to my...
To everyone out there, what am I guilty of?
It's
Please
very
tell
clear
me.
viewing you that we've clearly dug into something that happened there.
What? So you think I went and enjoyed the glory hole at the bathroom on the way home every day?
Yeah, and that's why the guy was there.
Well, so you think that's why he was there?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if that's what he did there, then so be it. I don't know
No.
because I
We're
never went
saying
to that bathroom.
Do you realize how dodgy this is sounding the way that you're
Well,
responding
you're
to
making it
this?
sounding dodgy as fuck.
No, I
so
was
that's
going
fine.
for a stupid joke angle, and you're just kind of like so defensive about it in a way that acts
Well,
as
you
if.
can say that if you want. I got no problem
No,
with you
no,
saying
it's
that.
very clear the way you're reacting to this as if there is something you're actually hiding about it.
Well, I haven't even got to finish
I know,
telling the
because-
story of what
because
happened.
clearly we're joking about a glory
I know,
hole. And
I know.
It was a joke, and then
Glory
you're
holes
getting on
are actually
defense.
quite funny, to be honest. He's
you're
gone
being
very
very, very
quiet at the
fun.
moment.
So why are glory holes so funny?
Well, a lot of people like to stick their dick in them, to be honest.
Yeah, and how do you know that?
Well, I don't know.
Well, you just said it, so clearly you do know.
Well,
so
I've-
tell us.
I've only heard from what people have done previously, so.
You only know from going and visiting the driver there, the bus driver. there.
So I've gone and visited the bus driver there now, have I?
Yes. What? Clearly, I've been saying that the whole time, and you're only now kind of acknowledging it as if I hadn't mentioned that just before. Clearly,
I don't even know where this is actually going at this point. to
very
be
clear.
honest.
Why would you? Again, saying something like that is only adding more fuel to the fire.
Anyway, so
No,
the bus
there is-
driver, can you shut up and let me finish the story?
But why?
Shut up.
If you're gonna be so guilty about it, just admit it. No one
I
cares.
would admit it if.
Clearly, you
was
wouldn't
true.
because you're clearly dancing around it and acting.
Because I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about at this point.
You already said just before that we were talking
Anyway.
about you and the bus driver in the glory hole.
Moving on. The bus driver would get off the bus
and
for
visit you
whatever
in the
reason,
glory hole.
would get off the bus
To visit you in the glory hole.
as he thinks something about a glory hole. And what I did was I tipped an entire bottle of water onto his seat.
Again, why?
I did it because I was getting pissed off with the fact that he was stopping there and not continuing on driving.
Again, this only adds fuel to the fire.
Well,
because
that's
why
what I
would you
was
give a
getting
fuck?
pissed off with.
Why would you give a fuck if you're getting off the bus?
Well, then I've got to sit there. Well, I would sometimes either get off there or get off at the next stop, depending on which way I wanted to walk home.
See, again, you've now just identified you didn't even need to get off at that stop.
I had the choice to.
Let's focus on the facts here. You didn't need to get off at that stop.
I don't even know where this is going at this point. This is
You
brilliant.
didn't need to get off at that stop. The bus driver didn't need to get off at that stop. You both, for no reason, got off at that stop together. And then
I'd walk home from that bus stop.
Yeah,
so
as we just
either
said.
that or I'd get picked up from that bus
As
stop by
we
my
just said,
parents.
you
So I
didn't
actually had a
need-
reason to get off at that stop,
You said-
unlike the bus driver.
But then why would you be so angry? It
So
goes
anyway,
back to the
can
clearly.
I finish the story
We're trying
or
to get
not?
to the bottom of the story. Clearly, there was
Well,
a.
I'm trying to finish the story, then
So-
you can get to the bottom
No,
of
no,
it.
no, 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 no. We're trying to dig deep here. So
Anyway, so
hang on, just
No,
wait.
can I finish
no,
the story?
no, you can't. You have to
I'm
wait.
gonna finish the
We need to
story.
figure the theory out. Why you again?
Fuck the theory. The
Why do
simple
you keep
practical
going
thing
past it?
was. The simple practical thing was I tipped a bottle
Why are
of
you
water
so
onto
insecure
a
about
bus
this?
driver's seat
Why are you so insecure about this?
because I was getting pissed off that he would be getting off the
Again,
bus.
as we said, this makes no sense.
So what ended up
Why
happening
would you
was
be upset if you don't get off at that stop? If you get off at that stop, why would it affect you?
but I would get off further down the line sometimes. I just thought I also thought
So you
hold
got
on,
off
hold
at
on.
that stop for
Oh
for
my
no
God.
reason,
So I also
and you
thought
got angry
I also,
at the guy for no reason.
I
You
also
both
th-
get off at the same stop to
I
visit
also-
the toilet together for no reason, and
we
you
didn't
wanna
visit the
act
toilet
like-
together, even though he.
You want to act like there is nothing suspicious.
I've
there.
actually spent
How is
more-
there nothing even
I've actually
remotely
spent
suspicious?
more time in a toilet with him than I have the bus driver.
Okay, can you not add our glory hole expeditions? Okay, Jesus.
So I was getting pissed off with the bus driver, and I thought also at the same time it would be a great idea to play a bit of a prank, a joke on him.
Why are we getting pissed off at the bus driver? What was wrong?
Well, I wasn't pissed
Did-
off.
did
I
he
thought
break
it'd
your
just
heart?
be a good joke
Did he,
to do.
did he have someone else visit him in the toilet that day?
He probably did. I don't know what he had going on in that toilet, to be honest. But I thought it'd be a good joke to tip water on his seat. Turns out it wasn't much of a joke, and I almost caused an industrial strike.
Again, why would he overreact so much?
I don't know. I caused an industrial
It only
strike.
adds to even more suspicion the fact that he overreacted to such a level.
Anyway,
Clearly,
I
something else was going on here.
Probably was. Who knows? I almost caused.
What do you mean? Probably was. You're saying
Who
that.
knows?
So you're.
It was
you're
like
admitting that
he'd
you
get
prob-
out. He'd get out. He'd get off the bus for like 2 minutes. So I don't
So
know
that's all
what
you
can be
lasted?
done in. So I don't know what can be done in 2
So
minutes.
who was a sucker? Come on, tell us. Come on.
So
You don't even say no.
I don't even know what you're talking
You
about
know
at this
what
point.
I'm talking about.
No, I don't.
It's very clear what
I
I'm talking
actually
about.
don't.
I'm talking about you and the bus driver going into the toilet to use
I never
the glory
went
hole.
into the
sure.
toilet. I never went into that toilet.
You had no reason to get off at that stop. He had
Well,
no
I
reason to
did
get
have
off
a
at
reason
that
to get
stop.
off that stop because
Neither
I
of
get
you
picked
had a
up by my
reason to go
parents
there.
to go home.
Oh, sure.
So anyway, I almost caused an industrial bus strike, and I had to write a letter apologising to the bus driver. Thankfully to say, no more. The bus drivers never actually got off at that stop ever again.
Because the lovers' quarrel ended and that was it.
For whatever reason, who knows?
So for whatever reason, he overreacted so much
Yes,
and was so angry.
that the whole bus company and all the drivers almost went on strike.
For no reason.
Yes, basically.
And he was so upset.
He was very upset.
And you want to tell us that it's only because of the water and not because of
Yes, it
something
was
further.
because of the water.
Sure.
So
Was the water like a payback because like maybe there was some other liquid spilled that
no.
some liquids got spilled
It's
on
funny
you?
where you're trying to go with this. That is good.
Some liquids got spilled on you, so
He's
you're like,
he's creating the glory hole and wondering about all kinds of different liquids and
well, again, you keep acting suspicious as fuck about this,
I'm
and the
acting
story doesn't
suspicious,
add.
what?
The story doesn't add up.
Well, would you want to be sitting in a puddle of water when at work?
Not when your lovers got pissed off at you. Clearly, there was a lovers' quarrel here that escalated dramatically, and you got him back the way you could, and then he got you back the way he could.
I actually have no way to go. No idea how to go on with this topic anymore. I've got nothing at this point. I've got nothing anymore.
So, who was the sucker? Come on, just answer.
It sounds like you were the sucker.
I don't understand how that relates to what we're talking about.
Well, I don't know because I wasn't there.
So he was.
I don't know what you're talking about, a sucker. Because again,
So again, why would you spill the liquid? So if you spilled the liquid, that sounds
because
like
I was
it's
getting
a fight
annoying
back.
that the bus driver. I was
Again,
getting
for no
annoyed that
reason.
the bus driver would stop the bus when I wanted to keep getting on the bus further up.
So you spilled liquid on his seat for no reason, getting his liquid all over his pants. Was this payback for him getting liquid all over your pants?
No,
Did he maybe suck and then spit?
this is going absolutely nowhere. This conversation.
See, again, you're just acting dodgy about it.
I'm acting dodgy.
Yes, the whole time we've been talking
This
about
has
this, you've
nothing
been-
to do with
you've been
fucking
acting
sex
as-
or glory holes or anything.
But you've been acting super dodgy, and clearly parts of this
Well,
story
it's fucking.
don't add
It's
up.
fucking. It was. It's a little bit dodgy when you tip liquid on someone's seat.
I feel like you decide. Tell us out in the comments there. Did did Marcus do something with the bus driver? Let us know.
Anyway,
Leave a voicemail.
Anyway, moving on. We got anything else?
No.
Well, I have one more thing I want to discuss.
It's gonna have to be amazing to top what we just discussed.
Well, this one, look, it's probably not to the level of what we discussed, but I
There's
thought
nothing
this is a
more
quick.
reassuring than when someone's like, "Oh, this is just a shit."
So, a couple of weekends ago,
You saw the bus driver. Have you seen him since then? Answer that for us.
no.
No. Okay, so clearly it was a very rough
Anyway,
breakup.
moving on. A couple of weekends ago, there was an incident at a football match between a number of people who were commentating and broadcasting on the game. Now, at an Australian rules football match at the MCG recently, a broadcasting team, the Triple M broadcasting team, some food got thrown around the broadcast box.
Yes.
Some fried rice got thrown around because two of the commentators in the pre-show got a bit angry with each other over what was being said.
It kind of reminds me of, I don't know, two people on a bus throwing liquid around because they got angry at each other.
I guess so it gets better. So
it gets better.
So the main commentator
now?
I don't know. There might have been a glory hole at the back of the MCG box. You never know what happens there. So food got thrown around the commentary box, and apparently the story goes that throughout the match, when the commentary was going on, the main commentator at one point had sweet chili sauce dripping down his head. He had sweet chili sauce dripping down his head. And
so the other put water on his seat to get him back?
Well, who knows what he did to try and get him back. He could have done all kinds of things. But it's a fair old feud throwing fried rice and sweet chili sauce at somebody else. You have to be pretty pissed off. You have to be pretty pissed off at someone to want to throw food at them.
You'd have to be pretty pissed off to put water on someone's seat for no reason.
Oh, that's true.
When it doesn't affect you at all and you want to invent some fake reason why you're upset.
Anyway, so I thought that was quite amusing, throwing fried rice at someone in a commentary box.
Just tell us.
Tell you what.
What went down with the driver?
Nothing went down with the driver.
Surely it did.
No, it didn't.
It did. Clearly.
Well, I thought something went down with the driver with you.
But that makes no sense.
Well, as I said, nothing went down with the driver with me.
But you're the one who escalated this, and he got so mad. You got so mad.
Long time. It doesn't matter. So
doesn't matter. You just shared a glory hole moment together, and that's the beauty of glory holes is you don't see them again until something happens like this, where clearly he did something to upset you.
Do we have anything further to discuss on the podcast today for anyone else out there?
Well, I think that we do have you telling everyone the glory hole story.
Well, there is no glory hole story.
But there is.
End of discussion. There is no glory hole story.
There is.
There just isn't.
But there is.
There isn't. You're just making this up.
I'm not making it up. You're the one acting dodgy. The story clearly doesn't add up.
Wait. You're the one talking about glory holes. So you're the only one who must know about them then.
That makes no fucking sense. You guys went together to a fucking public toilet.
We didn't go together to a public toilet.
The natural reason why you'd be so angry is there would be a glory hole incident there.
We didn't go together to a public toilet.
You did. You're talking about these public toilets. I mean, Jesus, just tell us.
Nothing happened.
Is that where you tried?
End of discussion.
Is that where you tried urine for the first time? Maybe that's what it was, and he peed all over.
You're trying to go back to the urine.
Yeah. Maybe the urine. You told the story of drinking urine.
That's.
So again, it takes a special kind of person to just randomly drink their own piss.
Well, I learned drinking your own piss from an adventure in South America. That's where I learned that.
And you learned using a glory hole from a bus driver.
No, I did not. Anyway, that is enough. Allegedly. Right, that is enough for today's podcast. Thank you to everyone out there for tuning in. Until next time.
I think the moral of the story is enjoy a good glory hole with your bus driver. If you got anything out of today, the moral, and whisper softly into his ears.
This is the 4th place. your fourth place.
Don't say your opposition's name. Wet their seat.
This is the fourth place. And until next time.
Until he sees you in a glory hole and then makes up a story to hide it later.